Take a good look at me. Do I look like some foreigner? This video is for my brothers in humanity, my fellow Americans. It is time that people got a closer look at people like me. To make it real clear to those watching and wondering, I do not have foreign parents or even foreign grandparents. In fact, if I had the inclination and or funds, I could easily have joined the SCV. For those of you that don't know what that means, SCV stands for Sons of Confederate Veterans. Matter of fact, I was raised in Mumford, Tennessee. I'm sure none of you actually know where that's at, so I'll save you the trouble and just say it's north of Memphis. I studied the Bible forward and backward growing up, just like anybody in the Bible Belt, or at least most people of my generation. I was first saved at the age of 8. I grew up as a relatively normal kid. I watched The Simpsons. Still never saw the Maggie killing Mr. Burns thing coming. That's still a shock. Yeah. Am a big wrestling fan. Loved WCW back in the day. Then, as I got in my late teens, I started getting more interested into like the South, more specifically like the Confederacy and that kind of thing. It got bigger as I got in like my early 20s. Roughly by 2005, give or take. My yearage is off because I used to drink a lot. A lot. Trust me. Anyway, I was wearing Dixie Outfitter shirts. I had Confederate flags. Listen to anything that was promoting the Confederacy. Was a big fan of Gods and Generals, the movie. For those of you that don't know what that is, Yahoo it. Stay away from Google. Time went on. I continuously studied the whole Neo-South thing. I stayed with that. I enrolled in college in January of 2008. Actually, I would have still been in that college, but the financial collapse of 2008 forced them to essentially close their doors, and another business kind of bought them out. Same kind of business. It's still a college, but it's what they call a fast track college now. So in the fall of 2008, I transferred to another Christian college, better known college, well-known college of it for its type. Was there for roughly 2 semesters. Now, while I was at the previous school, I took at least one class, which was the Introduction to Theology. Can't remember the teacher right offhand, but if anybody here thinks I'm making this up, I can easily look up the records and find out who he was. I still have the book to it, actually. They didn't want to buy it back. How convenient. Then the next school that I was at actually took, at least 2 semesters of Christian ideology, because that was part of their worldview curriculum at the particular school. I took about a semester off, kind of did my own thing because of some personal things that were going on, and also the financial cost of going to the private school was more than my loans were covering. So I needed to like reevaluate and figure out what to do. I transferred to a public school, still, a public college, but this put while at this school, this new school, the public school, still very big Christian. Went to church, local church actually. Actually, it was a backwoods Baptist church. If y'all are more interested in the details of it, it was a church I went to as a kid, sort of. The one that I went to more frequently as a kid, just it got too big for my taste. I didn't like it at that time. But the people at that one had been very friendly towards my family and everything. Anyway, I'm getting off track, but I went there pretty consecutively. Went to some Christian events that were on campus, as I was staying on campus at the time. And while I was there, I'm gonna say my second semester, my time is kind of off on that. I was getting more interested in Islam because I was hearing a lot about it from Fox News and stuff, and the impending threat of the radical Islam and this kind of thing. And I was watching it very extensively, and I felt that the best way to deal with this was to use the truth, because that's what the Bible said: use the truth, follow the truth. And to me, the best way to do that wasn't to fabricate lies or call them names. It was, go to the horse's mouth, so to speak. So, very much by accident, actually, I ended up getting some links from this poster on YouTube, and I followed those links. But anyway, going back for just a second, initially my goal was to prove basically like the, Taliban, Al Qaeda, Hamas, all of these kind of people were not radical. They were fundamental. They were following what their religion taught them to do. Essentially, I wanted to prove that these people were not, some extremist, that they were basically people that were being true to their religion. And as such, you can get where I'm going with that. Anyway, I followed these links, and I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. I'm a Muslim now. I stop what I'm doing 5 times a day, and I give praise to God. That's all it is. Giving praise to God. And I can assure you, as someone that was devout Christian, heavily into studying the Bible, following the Bible, looking up the history of the Bible, looking up what the language may have been for the different parts of the Bible, going over the sources, re-going over the sources, how it was put together, which parts were more accurate, which parts were less accurate. I went back and forth for quite a while between Christianity and Islam, where, I wanted to make sure without doubt that I was following the right way. And I did have doubt for quite a while. And let me just say, the word Allah, It's just another way of saying God. Now, with that said though, you could kind of argue that it's a better way of saying God, because, I mean, honestly, you can't make Allah male or female. You can't make Allah into several. And I'm speaking strictly as far as the word itself goes, etymology. Now, the word God, though, you can make plural, you can make feminine, whatever, and it kind of leaves a lot of room. Allah does not. The word Allah does not leave a lot of room. And I have, looked into the history of the word, the beginnings of it, the origins of it. It's not a pagan god. It didn't come from some moon or anything like this. Now, with that said, though, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. This is not to be a video about my reversion story or anything like that, because I'm content. I don't care if people know who I am or don't know who I am. It does not matter to me. Pardon the expression, but I don't give a rat's ass. What I would care about, though, is, my fellow Americans, especially some of my brothers and sisters from Dixie, just realizing that, Islam did start in Arabia, just like Judaism started in Israel, but Islam is not exclusive to Arabs or Pakistanis or whoever. There are people who follow Islam who are not born in some other country, children of someone who was born in some other country. I mean, I've watched some of the people that have been saying stuff about, Islam and Muslims, and frankly, quite a few of them have spent more time in other countries than I have. I have never been outside of this country, not once. I've been to Iowa. I was in California for a little bit. That was pretty close, I guess. I mean, culturally speaking, it was vastly different than what I was used to. Of course, I was only there for like a year. But, anywho, main point, I just wanted people to know, there are some of us that grew up right here. We are Muslim. We are American, just like you. We are practicing Islam. With the exception of my wife, every single member of my family is still Christian. So, nope. My parents were not even reverts that raised me Muslim. I am Muslim. It's something I chose. And I've rambled long enough. I think I'm going to go ahead and put an end to this video. And if any of you are wondering why is he using this particular background for his video, my answer is simply, I thought it would be funny.